I'm pleased to come and be part of this historic occasion that constitutes the Third People's Assembly of Kwazulu Natal, a gathering which resembles a national conference of many so-called political organizations. When you look at this gathering here, you will think it's a national conference of a particular party, only to be reminded that it is a Provincial Peoples Assembly. SG said all forces were marshaled from Friday until today, and the chairperson was telling me that we still have to take additional members and ensure that there's also commission's reports are consolidated, then we close the conference. I'm happy that more than 1,600 delegates came here with one mission only, and that mission was that of receiving reports and making sure that those reports are interrogated and map a way forward towards 2024 in terms of building a strong organization. But what makes me more happy is that there is no drop of blood in this conference or even before this conference. People are not throwing chairs at each other. No one has died in the name of the EFF. No one has been injured in the name of contestation. And this makes this conference a historic conference because we know that in Kwazulu Natal, when parties go to conferences, people die, others get injured, and there is fist fight right inside the conferences of other political parties. The same cannot be said about this conference of the EFF. And therefore, you are leading by example, that people can contest each other without destroying one another, that people can contest each other without killing each other. You demonstrated that you are brave, you are selfless, you are determined to build a party, and you did so without intimidation or assassination of each other. So we are happy and very proud that this conference of the EFF in Kwazulu Natal has enhanced the good image of the EFF. Everybody who wanted to howl insults at the EFF and character assassinate it, this conference has put them to shame, and all of them are quiet. All doomsayers have got nothing to say now. And the negative media has got nothing to report about this conference because all is well and positive. They thrive on malice and negativity. To them, good news is not news. They are looking for mistakes. So, comrades, we want to take this opportunity really to thank the outgone leadership of the EFF under Comrade Vusi. You have done well and you have put us where we are today. Comrade Vusi, not to be elected as a leader again is not a sign of a rejection. Members might be thinking you are now too big for the position you are holding, and they are thinking of something alternative for you. Or members may think that there is someone who can take us from where you have put us into another level. And therefore, not being elected must never be regarded as a sign of rejection. It is you who put us at 390,000 votes when we less expected in the province of Kwazulu Natal. It is under your collective leadership, Comrade Vusi, that we've got 7 deputy mayors in Natal and in Natal only and nowhere else here in Natal. It is you, the KZN leadership, that gave us a lot of votes in the previous elections when the many doomsayers did not expect us to emerge in Kwazulu Natal. You have demonstrated under your leadership, Kwazulu Natal, that the EFF is not an organization of a particular tribe or province, that it is a national organization that exists in all corners of South Africa. We know today that KZN is the hope of the EFF and the people of South Africa when it comes to 2024. You have defeated tribalism. You have shown them that ours is not a tribal card, but a national question to address the oppression of the African people in general. We don't care what language they speak. We don't care where they come from. We are in an agenda to restore the dignity of an African child, irrespective of where they are found. You have made a miracle, even when they refused us to campaign in the hostels, even when they refused us to campaign in the rural areas, even where the IFP wanted to threaten us. You went on your own without bodyguards. You broke new grounds and brought new votes into the EFF and showed the whole of South Africa that it is possible. Comrades, you do so because you know that a black life matters. You want an organization that is going to look after black people. You want an organization that will stand up for black people. You want an organization that will say what happened in Phoenix is nothing else but a hatred of African people by the minority Indians and whites who were killing our people senselessly without any recourse. We speak today following the July riots in Kwazulu Natal. No one has been held accountable even after killing our people. They roam the streets freely. They do as they wish because they do not regard a black life as a life that is worth living. Where do they get this strength from? Where they go around killing black people without any action taken against them. They get it from killing Chris Hani in 1993. They killed Chris in a senseless murder, and there were no consequences. No revolution followed after the killing of Commissar of Mkhonto Wesizwe. No action followed following the killing of Chief of Staff of the People's Glorious Army. And once they killed Chris, they got confidence that if you kill black people, there are no consequences. That's why they proceeded to kill our people in Marikana. Nothing happened. No single person has lost a job. No single person has been arrested. The widows are still waiting for the answers as to what happened to their husbands, because their husbands are black and African and their life do not matter. If anything, a person who encouraged the killing of the workers of Marikana was elevated into the position of president, thanking him for having encouraged the killing of African people. Following the Marikana massacre, Phoenix followed till to date. No one has been held accountable. No one has lost a job. No one has been questioned about why did you engage in the senseless killing of our people. Our people were stopped on the roads. They were searched in Umhlanga, in Pinetown, in Phoenix, in Balito, everywhere else where black people were passing during the July riots. Women were harassed by white, Indian, racists, and nothing till to date followed those who harassed our people. If anything, Ramaphosa supported them and congratulated them for having defended their own suburbs against black people. Where was the EFF? Why didn't the EFF visit these people in defense of black people? What did the EFF do to respond to the killing of Africans. Because no killing must be responded to through exchange of roses. The violent people only understand the language of violence. And that when violence is meted against black Africans, we must never respond with peaceful means. Violence must be met with violence. And violence can only be resolved by violence. We must never be scared of those who unleash violence on African people. They must know that our peaceful means to democracy and economic freedom does not equate to cowardice. We are not cowards. We are peaceful. We seek justice. But those who take our peacefulness for granted will know us for who we are. Will make them meet their maker before their time arrives, because we will not be silenced through violence in our own country. Comrades, we are tired of being shot and killed in our country, and when we ask, they say they mistaken us for baboons in our own country. Children get killed because they are accused of stealing meal or all manner of things in the farms, yet there is no radical response to those who kill our people. Comrades, if anything, they are trying by all means to silence the radicalism and the militancy of our people. They want to stop revolutionary songs. They want to suspend and destroy everything that demonstrates the heroism of black people. If we allow them to silence revolutionary songs, you must be guaranteed that one day we are going to wake up and will be told the name Shaka Zulu resembles violence and therefore should no longer be called in South Africa. By so doing, they will reclaim and rename all the airports and everything else that we have named after our heroes. The names and songs that resembles the apartheid murderers, the songs and names that resembles the oppression of black people have not been removed anywhere. If anything, the stem which was sang during the killing of black people is part of the national anthem. If anything, Verwoerd, Malan, and everybody else who was commanding the apartheid racist regime in the brutalization of black people, those names are still there being celebrated. But anything that reminds us of who we are and which battles we fought and how we have emerged victorious in those battles, they want to destroy, because they don't want a black person to know where you come from. They want to tell you about you. They want to tell you about your own history, because if you are taught the correct history of the black nation, all of you will rise and defend the gains of those who came before us. Comrades, the people of Mkhanya Kute are being removed from their land. Racists are controlling water schemes. Electricity is unreliable. There is nothing that is given to black people without a hassle. Yet we call this a land of our forefathers. We must, through this organization, build a strong, formidable force which will ensure that our black people are proud of who they are and do not regard themselves as subjects of colonialism and imperialism. The EFF is the spear in the hands of the conquered nation of black people, and this spear must never be destroyed by anyone. Comrades, when you engage in factionalism, wanting to destroy this spear in the hands of the poorest of the poor, Remember all those people who are losing their animals in Kwazulu Natal because they went into a white farm for grazing. And the white farmer found those animals and took them because they came grazing in his farm without a permit. You must know that those people who lost those animals are looking for the EFF to go and reclaim back those animals. If you destroy this organization, remember that there are a lot of people in Umgeni municipality who are looking for clinics, and there are no clinics, and those clinics that are there close at 4 o'clock. And therefore the EFF said to them, you are going to have clinics that open 24 hours. They are waiting for the EFF to arrive with those clinics that are going to open for 24 hours. But those clinics will never arrive if we come to this conference and engage in factional arrangement and destroy the only truck that is carrying the clinics that must be delivered in Umgeni that are going to open for 24 hours. You must know, as you engage in factional activities and in groups and choosing each other, that the youth of South Africa is waiting out there, not for who is leading the EFF, but for what is the EFF resolution when it comes to the unemployment of young people of South Africa. A lot of young people have graduated and do not have jobs. If anything, many of them are beneficiaries of 350, which does not restore their dignity. So they are waiting eagerly as to what are the resolutions of the EFF, Kwazulu Natal People's Assembly. Many of us commit a problem of the ANC of thinking conference is about leaders and that conference is about singing and that conference is about getting t-shirts of the Third People's Assembly. But none of us has got a sponsored resolution that you will say when you leave here, I am happy the EFF adopted the resolution to put free sanitary towels in all offices of the EFF, which are not many, by the way, are just 11 offices in Kwazulu Natal. You go around saying you want free sanitary towels to be given to students, to be given to poor people in the communities. But in your package of this Kwazulu Natal People's Assembly, there are no free sanitary towels in the bag that you are giving to delegates. So charity begins at home. You haven't even noticed that there are no sanitary towels. You haven't even noticed that there are no condoms because you are obsessed with who is going to lead the EFF in Kwazulu Natal. That's what you came here for. But leadership is nothing without resolution. Because there must be resolution. Therefore, then leadership. So that the leadership you elect, you look at what type of resolutions have we taken and who is fit to implement these resolutions. But the obsession with names. In the ANC, when you want to talk about politics and engage in the prevailing material conditions and what are the balance of forces, after a long presentation trying to persuade people on which direction to look at, they don't respond with a political response. After you have spoken about Fakugama, Baba, Fakigam, they don't want to hear politics. Now, you can't replace the ANC if you do the same things of the ANC. You cannot replace a tendency with the same tendency. You ought to come with an alternative solutions to what you think are the problems. And SG, this thing of you guys not sleeping in conferences, I don't agree with it. Because if you can't sleep, you can't think. So you need to rest. You need to rest. So that you wake up in the morning with fresh ideas and give direction as to where the EFF must go. So we don't want you to come here and sit the whole night and the following day we want resolutions. There are no resolutions because half of the conference is sleeping. So conferences of the EFF must be known as a festival of ideas, not as a battle for factions, not as a battleground for factions, but as a place where Marxism, Leninism, and Fanon are going to be practicalized. Because without any theory, a soldier who carries a gun without a political theory is a potential criminal. So we don't want you to come here and you have no political theory except sloganeering and factionalism. Because the vanguard party of the left will never be built by the people who do not even know what constitutes a working class. Because we first have to know who are we representing. We can only know that through Marx's theory of negation of negation. We have to know the law of dialectics in order for us to have the means to analyze the prevailing conditions in society. In the absence of Marx's theory, we will never understand what is the problem in eThekwini municipality. That's why we will surrender power to political criminals, because we have no theory to distinguish between thuggerism and radicalism. Others confuse thuggerism for radicalism. There is nothing revolutionary about anarchy. And many people think anarchy is the revolution. Anarchy is the highest form of disorder. And revolution is led. And disorder will never be led. A disorder people do as they wish. And we are not an anarchist organization. We are a revolutionary organization guided by revolutionary theory of dialectics, which must always find resonance when we meet together like this as the EFF. Today, we don't hear more about what's going to happen in the ANC conference, except who must be the president of the ANC. President of the ANC to do what? They've given up. The only thing they know is positions. Why? They want to be councillors. They want to be mayors. Some of you are standing in this conference because you think you are going to be a councillor. You even forgot that we dealt with councillors last year. The matter is closed. You are too late to stand if you want to become a councillor. We have councillors already. So do not kill people for non-existing ambition, which will not be realized until 2026. By that time, we would have been to another Provincial Peoples Assembly. So save yourself from possible embarrassment by waiting for 2026, where you'll stand, maybe become a councillor as well. But for now, you are going to stand wanting to be a councillor and expose yourself. Comrades, the country has collapsed. We are on an autopilot. We don't know where the pilot is. Those who have the rumor say the pilot is at Palapala, selling buffaloes and uncle. That's why the plane does not have a pilot. When you are a president of South Africa, by law, you are not allowed to do any other business except to be a president of South Africa. Why? Because you are a pilot. You can't be a pilot at the same time in the same plane, be an air hostess and sell Zimbas in the plane and leave the plane leaderless because you are busy selling Zimbas. Your president told you that he sometimes leaves the seat of a pilot and goes and become an air hostess and sell Zimbas. So we are looking for a pilot because our pilot is no more. How can a president admit to have put dollars and dollars of rands under the mattress and that person still spend 24 hours in the office after admitting to have had dollars under the mattress? Such thuggerism. Ungathi sebenza nam umuntu oshayela ama-taxi. Uyachekisha every afternoon. He checks the money and put under the mattress. And when they steal the money from him, he doesn't go to police station. He goes and calls other taxi drivers to go and look for the other one who stole from him. What type of a president do we have in South Africa who leaves the office to go and sell uncle? Let's say the money is not stolen. That's fine. It's his money. He says he made money during the sales of uncle and buffalo. When he was selling uncle and buffalo, who was the president of South Africa during that time? You have a president who tells you that I sometimes leave this seat to do other things, and you don't release him or no. Go and do those things freely. We want a full-time president. We don't want a part-time president. Because by law, the president must not do any other job except being the president of South Africa. That's why are they not allowed to do other business? This country is too big to have a part-time president. Because we've got an absent president, Transnet has collapsed. Because there's no one to look after Transnet. PRASA has collapsed. SABC is running on autopilot. The municipalities, all of them without fail, have collapsed. If they pay salaries, the municipalities, they can't pay Eskom. Today, we have no electricity in South Africa because Eskom has collapsed. Why? The president is nowhere to be found. He's busy cleaning after the poo-poo of uncle in a kraal. So, you expect to have a country without a president and still think you can get jobs. You expect to have a country and have the economy grow without the president. You expect this body of yours to function without a head. Have you ever seen a headless chicken? What it does? That's where we are now. This country has become a headless chicken. It has got no direction unless the EFF wakes up in Kwazulu Natal and we take Kwazulu Natal and we take the whole of South Africa and redirect this country to a proper destination. If we don't do that, I can tell you now, South Africa will not be worth living in it. These people that you have been insulting, saying Zimbabweans, saying Nigerians, saying all manner of things, you are next. Your country is going to become another failed state. And when this country becomes another failed state, you are going to live here into other people's countries to look for greener pastures. We must stop that. South Africa must still prosper, and it must prosper without the ANC. Nothing will happen if the ANC gets out of power. Mandela was in power. Mandela left power. The country continued. Mbeki came, left. Zuma came, left. Ramaphosa will leave soon. This country must still go forward under the capable leadership of the EFF. And no one will give this country a proper direction except the leadership of the EFF. Comrades, we will never get a changed country if we still have parties that are in power and they are controlled by the Oppenheimer family. Today, when Mazzotti gives the EFF 200,000 to register as a political party, they flag him as a politically exposed person. They close his accounts because he gave the EFF 200,000. But the Oppenheimer family gives the DA 15 million, gives Action SA 10 million. They are not flagged as politically exposed person because they gave DA, ANC, Action SA money. But once you give EFF money, which is a constitutional political party, third largest in South Africa, they treat you the same way they treat terrorists. So you can see that all these electoral laws, all these initiatives is to stop the EFF. Why are they stopping the EFF? A white lady answered in one of the interviews, the EFF is the only party which will do what it says it will do, and which is the expropriation of land without compensation. They know the EFF will do that. They know that the EFF does not make commitments. It does not make promises. It makes commitments. When the EFF in UKZN says it's going to fight for free education and get all our children into school, if they don't have money to register or they have money to register, as long as they qualify, they will put them into school. All campuses of UKZN vote the EFF Student Command. Why? They know the EFF does not just talk. They are going to do what they said they are going to do. So when we say we're going to take the mines and give them to our people, the Oppenheimers hear us very well. When we say we're going to establish a state-owned bank, the Oppenheimers hear us very well. And that's why they are doing everything in their power to stop the EFF. Every law is aimed at ensuring that the EFF does not succeed in South Africa. Why? The EFF is the only revolutionary organization left in South Africa. There is no any other revolutionary organization that is scared of by white monopoly capital except the EFF. Not even RET forces in the ANC scare white monopoly capital than the EFF. The EFF is the only party that will restore the land in the hands of our people. The EFF is the only party that will make sure that the dignity of domestic workers in eThekwini and everywhere else are restored. Today, all black elite who pretend to hate the EFF, when they fight with their bosses, they mention the EFF. That if you don't do 1, 2, 3, we are going to call the EFF. Because they know that the EFF is the only thing a white man is scared of in South Africa. Why? The EFF is not in the pocket of white monopoly capital and has never taken money from reactionaries in South Africa. Comrades, we have passed a bill in Parliament to welcome independent candidates in 2024. Now, these NGOs say, no, the bill is not what they wanted. We don't exist according to NGOs. We exist according to the mandate given to us by our electorate. The Constitutional Court said we must allow independence, and we have done exactly that. So, 2024 elections is going to be a difficult election because some of you who are here, my water SG, some of you who are here are going to be independent candidates, by the way. Especially those who go to conferences and lose, and when they lose, they think we owe them something. So be ready. People are going to lose conferences and are going to be independent candidates. And that independent candidate is going to make our ballot paper the longest ballot paper in the history of elections. It is not going to be an easy election. So when you live here, please prepare yourself to fight against the people you have been with in the EFF for a very long time. Because others are nothing else but opportunists who are prepared to destroy a political party in the name of personal interest. Why do you want to lead at all costs? Why do you think if it's not you, the EFF is dead? Because others have lost here. They are going to be saying, I feel the EFF is dead, I'm telling you. Because when you are not elected, EFF is dead. Because you are the EFF. You confuse EFF with your microwave. You think EFF is one of your kitchen equipment. EFF is not a family matter. It's a national matter and does not belong to any individual. If you are right, let me tell you, contesting is not a declaration of war. It's democracy in action. There is nothing wrong with contesting. Sometimes you must do it even when you know you are going to lose, to test whether democracy is still working in the EFF or not. Harry Gwala wanted to contest who? Mandela. Was it Mandela? In the first conference. And when they asked for seconders, he got only one hand or two seconding him. And they asked him and said, why did you contest even when you knew you were going to lose? He said, I wanted to teach the future generation that there is democracy in the ANC, that no one is born for position in this organization. So today you have lost. Because the majority said you must not lead. It's a democratic decision that must be respected. Because in the EFF we lead through democratic centralism. A decision of the higher structure is binding on lower structures. Now this higher structure has taken a decision and said Monges will lead. Whether you like it or you don't like it, you must respect democratic centralism. And let me tell you, majority can also be wrong. It doesn't mean because I'm voted by the majority, it means they are right. The majority can be wrong because majority is always wrong there in parliament called the ANC, yet it's in majority. What do we do when the majority is wrong? Do we throw the baby out with the water? No. Because we are defeated democratically, wrong as they are, we are going to support them. But we'll continue to advocate for this idea from within the structures of the organization until the day they realize we were right. Do not choose your friends to lead with you. Because leadership that is meant out of friendship is going to fail. Tomorrow, we must go to the War Council. Me and Marshall were friends. We go drinking at Max's place. When we arrive at the War Council, there are no minutes. When I say to the Secretary General, where are the minutes? Or you know where we were yesterday. Once you don't have the minutes, that is the beginning of the degeneration of the organization, and it will die a natural death. Let me teach you. The criteria we use to elect leadership is not whether am I speaking to that person or not. It's not whether am I friend to that person or not. I can hate you personally. We can fight over a boy or a girlfriend. It doesn't matter when it comes to election of leadership. What matters is, does this person love the EFF? When we call for putting up posters, does this person come? When we do door to door, does this person come? When we ask for reports, does this person report and report honestly about the work done? If this person ticks all the boxes, even if I don't like this person, I must just say shame. We're turn the EFF shame. Let's elect him. On the basis of that, why do you want to elect the people on the basis of proximity to them? Why do you want to elect people even when you know that they've got no qualities of leadership? Why do you want to destroy the investment you have made in other leaders? Why is one conference replacing the other conference? What happens to institutional memory? What happens to the investment we have made in individuals? Because every election means ushering in of new people out of jealousy and nothing political. Are we going to have new leaders every time we meet? Or are we going to invest in the leadership of the EFF that is tried and tested, that knows the weaknesses of our organization and is prepared to build from that? In Western Cape, they once had a chairperson who was supposed to be deployed to Southern Cape. And he said to the deputy president, Southern Cape is too far, but he's a provincial chairperson. Mkanyagude is too far. But when we asked you here, are you available? You said yes. Yes means I'm available to go to Mkanyagude. I'm available to go to every corner, every region. In Kwazulu Natal is my home. There is no region that is far. If you're going to say there is a region that is far, please do not accept the nomination. We are not in a beauty contest here. We are in a revolutionary organization and are looking for the hard workers who are going to make the revolution happen in South Africa. 2024, asilale emakhaya. We don't want to hear a story, no, hey, my husband, my wife. When we're supposed to go and work for this organization. Fighters, we say we are fighting for women's rights. We are fighting for women to protect women. But every time when we make elections of a chairperson and a secretary, we choose men. And then women become deputy this, deputy that, and treasurer. I'm actually shocked that the treasurer is a man here. Because I know that position is reserved for women. To show that we are going to lead the struggle of women, We must allow women to lead, even in strategic positions, right in the EFF. Because women are equal to all of us. But that can only be shown through action. We must never be threatened by women. They are equal, they are capable, they must be given opportunity. They don't need a favor. They just don't want to be blocked by anyone. They will show you how much they can lead society for the better. Comrades, if Winnie Mandela, Charlotte Maxeke, Lillian Ngoyi can make it, what stops these women who exist under democracy to make it? Winnie Mandela is a president of South Africa who were denied of. She was more capable than Zuma, yet they chose Zuma over her because it's a woman. She was more capable, more than Ramaphosa. She was even available. But because she was a woman, she was overlooked. She was harassed. She was sidelined. All manner of insults were hurled at her because they wanted to teach other women not to try to contest men. Because if you contest men, you are going to be treated like Winnie Mandela. That's why they treated her the way they did. It was not about Winnie. It was about intimidating women. So that women look at themselves and say, if they can do this to such a powerful woman, who am I? I can't even try. But typical Winnie, she never gave up. She was never scared of men. The only crime Winnie Mandela committed was to do a job that was meant to be done by a man. And they said she thinks she's a man. She alone, in the 80s, single-handedly, could shout Viva ANC under state of emergency. No man with beards could say Viva ANC in the 80s except a woman called Winnie Mandela. She was the only person in the 80s who carried the flag of the ANC. No man could do that. She is the one who made Mandela known all over the world, traveled the world, fighting for the release of the leader of the people and the husband. A woman did that. They destroyed Winnie. They went for her. All names were called on her. But you know what, Vus? She never disappeared. She stayed true to the cause. She remained loyal to the cause. When Winnie Mandela died, we saw a story. ENCA started talking rubbish about her. When she died, the people of South Africa stood up immediately and said, you stop that nonsense. And they stopped it and started reporting properly. When she said history will absolve me, she meant exactly that. That you can insult me, you can say all wrong things about me. One day the people will know they are true leaders. When we went to bury Winnie Mandela, it was raining. The cars stopped on the side. People got out of their cars. They were waving at the hearse of Winnie Mandela under heavy rains, saluting her for her loyalty to the cause. When we turned into four ways in Johannesburg, both black and white, including the kids, were waving and saying bye to their leader. When we went to take her from the mortuary, the old ladies in Soweto came out of their houses, sat on the chairs, waved the goodbyes to her. Because you will never choose a leader for the people. People will always know who their leaders are. And they will support them no matter whether they are in the office or they are not in the office. So fighters, remain disciplined, remain loyal, defend each other. There is no enemy in this hall. We are all fighters. We cannot afford to hate each other. When we leave here, Chairperson, non-stop from tomorrow, we want 1 million members by December because we want to take over South Africa. When we leave here, we are going to build a strong organization. Whatever differences we had, we leave them here. They don't belong out there. We finished them here through a ballot. And when it's done at the ballot is finished, we hold each other's hand. We go and confront the enemy outside and take over Kwazulu Natal. Comrades, we can't be led by the IFP. If you are going to concentrate on fighting each other, you must know the IFP is coming. That's why they are winning every by-election here in Kwazulu Natal. That must be a wake-up call. They will win every by-election if we continue to fight each other and do not concentrate on the ball. Do not play a man, play the ball. Fighters, anyone who still wants to talk about what happened yesterday is not worth listening to. We voted, it's done. It's water under the bridge. The EFF has won. No one has lost yet. There is only one winner, and that winner is the EFF. Let's concentrate on the EFF and not on individuals. Let's love the EFF more than individuals. Let us join the organization, not individuals. Because with the EFF, we have a solution to every problem confronting South Africa. I am very happy, fighters, with the work you are doing here in Kwazulu Natal. The whole of South Africa, the whole of Africa is very happy of the work of the EFF in Kwazulu Natal. I hope the new leadership will not fail us and take us back. We don't want anything less than 390,000 votes in 2024. Anything less than that, it's a sell-out position. So you must know that when you do well as the EFF, you don't do well for South Africa. You do well for the whole African continent and for all black people, even in diaspora. The people in America are watching as we speak on the YouTube. Why? The EFF is their last hope, which fights for black people. Because we don't fight for black people in South Africa only. We fight for black people all over where black people are found. Fighters, you have no privilege to fight one another. Here in Natal, we must defeat the IFP. Why must we be deputy mayors of IFP and not the other way around? Why should the IFP get more votes than us? Why must the DA get more votes than us? Why is the ANC still getting more votes than us? Even when the ANC is dead in KwaZulu Natal. When you live here, go and take those votes of ours from the DA, from the ANC, from the IFP, from all the political parties and bring them into the EFF. There is a spoiler here called the NFP.
we need to take those votes of the NFP because they belong to the EFF. Why do they belong to the EFF? It's because Kwazulu Natal belongs to the EFF. There is no any other party that can govern better Kwazulu Natal except the people who come from the EFF. Fighters, we are going to put the king of the Zulu nation very soon. That stadium must be packed to capacity. That stadium must reflect unity of black and African people. Why? Whether you like Musi Zulu or not, this is not time for that. The haters of black people want to destroy the only remaining black monarchy that is still united and coherent. We must not allow the only remaining institution of black people to be destroyed. I come from a township. I don't know those things of kings and queens. I do not have one. But here is an institution that is black-led, that is black-run. Why can't we protect it? At least there must be something that is led by black people which is functioning properly and it's united. I hold no brief from Musi Zulu. I've not even visited him yet. So I'm not speaking because I'm his friend or I met him or I've not met him. I don't have to meet him to know that a black institution must be defended. When Shembe Church fights, we bleed because it's a black institution that must always be together. If we wake up tomorrow, they say ZCC is falling apart, it will pain us because it's a black institution. Every black failure is a reflection on us. When we speak, they're going to say, you can't tell us anything. You couldn't even run the kingdom of the Zulus. You failed. Whether I'm Zulu or not, it will still come to me. That's why I must defend it, so that it must function and become successful. We call for the unity of the royal family and for the protection of the king and for the unity of the Zulu nation in KwaZulu Natal and everywhere else, because Zulus are not only in Natal, they are also found in Zambia, in Malawi, in Zimbabwe, everywhere else. That's why when you say you don't want Zimbabweans, I look at you in shame. That you might be thinking you are chasing away a Zimbabwean, only to find that you are chasing away your relative. There is Mpofu in Zimbabwe. There is Dalimpofu. So when you say we must chase Zimbabweans away, I don't know what must happen to Dalimpofu. Must he also be chased away because Mpofus of Zimbabwe are not wanted in South Africa? Careful what you are asking for. The coronation of the king should have taught you something. That Zulus are not only in Natal, are all over Africa. And when EFF says Africa is one, it's not lying. You were fortunate to see it alive during the coronation of the king. We are not for Musi Zulu or for anyone else. We are for the unity of the royal family. And as we know it now, it has chosen the king, and we are behind that king and will support that king during its coronation. It's not an ANC event. It's not an IFP event. It's an event of the people of South Africa. The EFF must also go there and support the coronation of the king. That one with a big nose is not doing anything else except to hand over the certificate. That's what he must do. hand over the certificate and sit down. He must not even try to talk anything because he knows nothing. He must never pretend that he loves black people, Ramaphosa. He doesn't love black people. For sure, he even has a hand in that disunity of that family. It's possible he's the one who's dividing that family because he's good at dividing black people. So he must hand over certificate. After doing that, he must sit down. He must not be allowed to even utter a word. He must sit down because any word from Ramaphosa is our mosha. We want a beautiful day. We don't want a messy day. Ramaphosa must not speak at that coronation of the king. It is not his day, it's the day of the king. It's not an ANC conference. It's our conference, all of us. And we can only listen to the king, not to some big-nosed president with full of dollars under the mattress coming to lie to us and mislead the people of South Africa. Fighters, you have done so well and continue to be disciplined. Elect additional members in a disciplined manner. When they don't point your hand, don't scream. They will never finish this conference with any hand still up. All hands will be pointed at to nominate peacefully in a disciplined manner. No need to jump on the chair, no need to scream. Raise your hand quietly, allow IMSA to come and point your hand and count you. If you have met a threshold, good luck. If you have not met a threshold, bad luck. We'll try some other time. Thank you very much.
I'm a king, yes, I'm a king, I think I'm a king,